Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? My name is Rob Carmona, and welcome back to another episode of Rob the Mic. So, this week we're going to start the episode in reverse. And what I mean by that is we're going to start off with our advice / words of wisdom and work our way from there. Because I saw way too many things that lined up with this. And I was already like, nah, dude, this is what this week's episode is going to be about. So let me read this to you guys, and you'll probably already have an idea what we're going to jump into. But this is what I came across. So staying consistent, even when it's not immediately rewarding, is where the shift happens. Once again, staying consistent, even when it's not immediately rewarding, is where the shift happens. I've had too many things that have happened in the last couple weeks that I have to keep reminding myself this. The problem is that it's really tough to have to constantly bring yourself up from the lows. And even when you're talking to your family, when you're talking to friends, your partner, whoever it may be, it's tough to have to keep doing that. And it's having to match that level of consistency that you have for yourself in your head, something that you want to kind of keep up with yourself. It's really hard to have to do that because sometimes the ideas that you have in your head are they're very heavy and they're big. And it's actually, when you're in it, you're like, oh, fuck, this is actually a lot heavier than I thought. Not that you can't do it, but it's tough to have to keep yourself in this place where you can tell yourself constantly, keep going, keep going, keep going. Like, even if you're not seeing anything, keep going. And like, even with working out, right? Like, thankfully, I'm in a place right now where I've already been doing it for a couple weeks. I'm starting to notice, I'm starting to feel different. And that is one thing for me, like, that's a big driver, right? So that's something cool where I'm like, okay, sick. I'm seeing it, I'm feeling it, I'm noticing it. All right, keep it moving. I have a certain idea, I have like an end goal, right? But even then, moving the end goal aside, there's results. And a lot of us need that. I feel like a lot of people that are kind of in my circle are very result driven. They need to see some sort of change. They need to see some sort of shift, whether it's in their automotive build, whether it's in their life, whether it's in their career, in their love life, whatever it may be. Like, they need, and we need results. But this is really tough. It's a really, really tough thing. And I feel like right now I'm reaching a really heavy creative block. And I don't know. I feel like I'm just kind of spinning my wheels. I feel like I've been doing not the same thing, but I feel like I've fallen into a routine. And I'm trying to change that routine up, even with the way that I work on a day-to-day basis, where I'm trying to shift up my workflow. I'm trying to learn new things. I'm trying to even like add up work where I can catch up and do certain things and kind of give myself a little more free time. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to find inspiration in different places. I'm like looking at different accounts, trying to check out different things. I'm trying to push myself back into, and when I say push back, I don't mean like push myself in a bad way into something, but I'm trying to push myself back into the kitchen, because that was a really inspiring place for me. It is. I'm not gonna say it was. It is a very inspiring place for me. I love cooking. It's a major part of my life. It's something that brings me peace. It's something that brings me calm, that serenity, like something that I need in my life. And I'm missing that. And I noticed that even as of recent, when I'm back in the kitchen, I feel okay. I feel right. I feel like, okay, this is where I can kind of take not my aggression out, but I can let out things in a certain way, right? Like, if I'm feeling a certain way, I can throw that down in the kitchen, right? I end up throwing a little bit more spice. I end up throwing a little bit this. I cook a little bit hotter, cook a little bit faster, chop a little bit more aggressive. And I know that might sound kind of funny to some of y'all, but it's like everybody has certain outlets that they run to, right? And for me, that is an outlet. That is something that I look to. And I mean, I grew up with it. I saw it. Like, I would see how certain foods would turn out from certain people when they had certain passion in them or certain love and certain feeling. And it's like, okay, cool. I also need that, right? So that's one thing I'm looking towards. I'm looking towards the automotive culture. Like, what do I need from that? What can I draw that is inspiring, that will help me, that will push me in a certain way? Because the creative block is hitting in a heavy way, and I don't like how it's influencing and how it's starting to kind of change how I feel about things. And I'll give you an example, like the podcast. It's really tough to get people on here. Like, I want to have guests. I love to have guests at the rare times that I have had them. You guys really enjoy them. And it's something that I want to do constantly. It's really hard, really fucking hard to line up with people's schedules where it's like, hey, dude, oh, I can do it on Saturday. And I'm like, I can't. Like, I have to shoot. And it's like, oh, do you have any time during the week? Oh, dude, I can. But like, I don't really have the space, or I don't really have, like, it's not going to look like the way it looks like when you're recording, and so on and so forth. So it's like trying to get all of that. There's so many factors that need to get situated when you're having a guest, right? You need to also think about cameras, and it's like, okay, am I going to have multiple cameras? Am I just going to do one? And so on and so forth. But that's something that I have to worry about. But again, the main thing is getting guests on here, where again, it is difficult to line up with schedules and line things up. And, like I record during the week, I record in the middle of my day, because this is a time and a day that I can set apart for this as a part of my job, right? Which is cool. And I'm very thankful to be in this position where I can do so. But it's hard with other people. Not everybody can do the things that I'm doing right now. So that's a big factor right now too, where I'm just like, not like I'm bored, but I'm feeling like I'm just kind of like, oh man, like I love talking to you guys. I love being in this place, but it's rough. And again, I don't feel like this all the time. It's very rare that I do, but I notice that when I hit my creative blocks, I feel like by the time I hit the block, my cup is overflowing. So it affects every fucking thing in my life. It affects just how I feel. It affects like how I navigate everything. That I'm just uninspired, and I'm like, all right, well, maybe I should just stop this for a while. Maybe I should take a break. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. And sometimes I don't think that that's a bad thing, because, I wonder where I'm just like, okay, well, what if I take a little break from the podcast and then, come back in a couple weeks or something, and just kind of try and regain something from it, or just, I don't know, like maybe restructure it and maybe kind of figure something else out, or, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but that's why I always thank you guys every week, because I appreciate what you do. I appreciate your love, your support, all of that, because it matters. But going on with like the opening statement, right? Or like that bit of that word of wisdom, where it's staying consistent when it's not immediately rewarding, is where the shift happens. And that's what I have to keep telling myself, because I don't know what I want from this. This is just something that I do, and I enjoy doing it, and I love having the conversations with you guys. But ultimately, it's like, I don't know what this is supposed to do. I don't know where it's supposed to go. I don't know who it's going to help. You know what I mean? It's just something that I love being in this space. I love being in this mental health community, and I love sharing stories. I love talking about anything that I can, because again, if it's something that affects me, I'm like, it has to affect somebody else. And I've had that. How many times have we had that, right? Where I talk about something and then I come back to you guys the next week and say, hey, you know what? I had somebody reach out to me that said, hey, you know what? This is what I'm dealing with. And it's crazy, because that's what you're talking about. Or I went through this maybe about a year ago, 6 months, couple weeks ago, or I feel like I'm in this rut, and you talked about all this on this episode. And I'm here, and damn, dude, like, thank you. So it's like moments like that are very rewarding, and they're very reassuring, where it's like, okay, keep this shit moving. Even if you don't know what the end goal is, even if you don't know what the fuck really is the ultimate goal for what it is that you're doing, keep it pushing. And I feel like that's kind of how everything is in my life right now, where my work, I don't ultimately know what I'm doing with it. Right? Where I'm trying to shoot, trying to do video, I'm trying to do design, which is my primary, right? That's my bread and butter, is graphic design. So anything within that realm, whether I'm designing clothing, whether I'm doing branding for somebody, whether I'm doing consulting, whatever that may be, that is what I do. And it's like, I don't know where that's supposed to take me. And it's rough, because I've been trying to look at different blogs and listen to different designers talk about, or creatives in general. And I feel like everyone kind of hits this little bump in the road, where you hit a certain point in your career that you're just kind of like, I don't really know what I'm working towards or what I'm working for. I just feel like I'm working. And that's the hard part, where you don't have this end goal. And even if you say, like, for example, for myself, I could turn around and say, I want to be a creative director at some point for whatever company. That's one thing. But then I always think about what happens when you get there. Because I've had that multiple times in my life where I'm like, man, I want to reach this point. And then I do. And it's like, okay, well, where do we go from here? And that's a very daunting thought. And I shouldn't do that, right? Because I feel like I'm shutting it down before it's even happening. And that ends up being rougher on myself. Like, it's like unnecessary. It's unnecessary stress. It's unnecessary to kind of bring those thoughts where it's like, fuck, dude, you're shooting it down before you even fucking got there. So you can't do shit like that. So these creative blocks really affect me. It's not just with my work. It's not just what I create. It affects my entire fucking life. Because everything that I do, all of my work, I put myself into. I love it very, very much, whether it's my editing with photography, whether it's stuff I do with video, stuff I do with design. I put a piece of myself into everything that I do. It's very rare that I can do something and be so far disconnected from it that I don't have anything to do with it in a way. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can just kind of work on shit objectively, pass it off, and not a big deal. I will put myself into everything. And that's the hard part about being a creative, where it's a very personal thing. When work is denied, when certain things don't come to fruition, it's like you take a hit personally. And you have to learn to not do that, right? You have to be able to step back and say, this has nothing to do with me. This is simply the job, or this is simply whatever it is. It has nothing to do with me. But again, when I'm in these creative blocks, I take everything a lot more personal. Everything hits a lot harder in my life. My romantic life hits harder. My family life hits harder. My personal life in general with my friends, it hits harder. In my professional life, that's like 2, 3, 4, 5 times more intense when things don't go a certain way or they hit a certain way. And it's like, fuck, well, here we are. And I know I had mentioned to you guys the corporate contracts where I'm trying to nail these. I'm trying to land these. I'm trying to expand the business a certain way. But at least at this exact moment, it's not necessarily panning out. Not the way that I have planned it to, because I didn't necessarily plan on going down this route, but an opportunity presented itself. And I'm like, okay, well, let's travel down the road. And again, it's not really panning out. So it's like, okay, well, what the fuck? And then I look at, let's say, corporate positions that I've applied to, like for, let's say, senior level director, things like that, where having the experience, being in the industry for a certain amount of time. And it's like, okay, you know what? I can gun for certain things. Let me just see if it's worth it. If it's a cool company, they stand for like something dope, I can fuck with that. Because for me to jump back into something corporate, not a corporate contract, but to jump back into like, let's say a 9-to-5, I got to make sure it's something that's worth it. Because I'm going to put my everything into this. And I think once you reach a certain level in design, in the creative field, when you're at that senior level, when you're at the higher levels, it is very personal. Because you're not just doing it for yourself. You're being put in this position because of what you do and how you can affect everything around you, right? So usually you will have designers that are reporting to you, and they're going to look to you. They're going to look to you for style. They're going to look to you for advice. They're going to look to you for anything and everything under the sun. Because I noticed that. Like, I realized that being in the industry for the time that I have been, when I've worked with directors, like right then and there, like it's me and them, I'm reporting directly to them as a certain level of designer. I'm like, oh shit, this is really different. This is really fucking different. And when someone's reporting to me, that is very, very different. Because it's like, okay, what? You're not just asking me some bullshit. Like, you're asking me because it's like, okay, this is one thing that has to be submitted. It's very important. I need to go through this. Let's see what's up. Did you hit all the marks? Okay, how do we fix it? How do we get there? And like, it becomes very overwhelming and it's crazy. But for me, it's a very personal process. And it ends up, for me, being a very personal thing. But it's discouraging when, let's say, you put yourself up for these things and let's say there's no response. You apply for these jobs, you go out for these contracts, you submit bids, and you don't hear anything, not even a, hey, we're going to end up going with somebody else, or, thank you for at least, taking the time to do this. We appreciate it. We're going to think it over, whatever, some sort of response. When you get nothing, it's that whole like ghosting phenomenon, right? That we hear so much in dating, where that's one whole side of life that has become super normalized, right? Like it's normal for people to ghost you. And that's fucking sad. And I know for a lot of you listening, watching, maybe you've experienced it. I know me personally, I definitely have. It's a really shitty thing to experience in that realm, like from the dating side. But when you think about it and you take it into other parts of your life, you're like, oh man, dude, it's like equally as fucked up to be ghosted for a job. I can't tell you how many homies that I've had, and even myself, that I've gone through interview processes, and you're like, you make it to the second, sometimes even a third interview, and then they're like, okay, we're gonna give you a call. Let's say you do it on a Wednesday, we're gonna give you a call on Friday. Nothing. And you reach out and you email and say, hey, I just touching base. I didn't hear from you on Friday. What? Obviously, you're gonna say it in a very professional way, but it's like, I'm just checking in to see what's going on. You get nothing, and you're like, well, fuck. What was the point? I invest all this time, I invest all this energy to then what? To just get tossed by the wayside? And it feels like that. Like it's rough. So again, there's so many factors I feel like that are it's fucking with me right now. It's fucking with me so hard. And I'm trying to break this creative block. And I'm looking and I'm reaching so fucking hard from so many different people and so many different aspects of my life. And it's rough. And I know, like, I've had a lot of death in the last couple weeks. And like, I look at all of that, and I'm not saying that it gives me something, but it makes me think a lot. So I guess it kind of has given me something. It's given me this perspective, which I know I've talked to you guys about before. And I talked about that a lot, especially after my Uncle Alfredo died. And even like around Waxer and like, other people who have passed since then, where it's like, sometimes you need this perspective. And I don't know if I necessarily needed it right now or whatever, but life has given it to me. It's been given to me on a platter. And it's like, hey, all of this shit is happening back to back to back to back to back. What are you going to do with it? So I'm trying to like reassess it all and like, change the values of things and say, okay, well, you know what? Maybe this is a little bit more important right now. Let's move this to the front. This maybe isn't so important. Let's fucking throw that in the back. And it feels like I'm trying to just gain control of everything. And I'm doing that also in my creative work, where it's like, okay, what do I need to focus on right now? But I can't stop. As much as I want to like just slow everything down, it's okay to slow down, but I can't fucking stop. I need to stay consistent, and I even felt it on this past Friday, because I didn't post. I was just kind of working on stuff here at the house, and I was just kind of in my head. I was in my fucking head for some reason. And, I had a friend of mine, a couple of them, reach out and say, hey, dude, like, what's up? You didn't post today. Or are you going to post today? Or what's up? And then I had some hit me up on Saturday, be like, hey, dude, are you posting today? Or what's up? And I'm like, oh, nah, man, like, I'm not posting until next week. And one of them is like, yo, are you okay? So, and I told, I was like, look, dude, I got some shit going on, but we'll be back. It's cool. It's all right. And I had to think about it, just kind of go through it the weekend. I'd spent some time with Sebastian, did my thing, chilled out with him. Sunday, I had some time to myself, and I'm like, all right, cool. We just take a little breather. We jump back. It's all right. It's cool. But I got to stay consistent. I can't just drop the ball, because it affects so much. And then I don't think about what I do and how it affects other people, that people look forward to shit, or people want to see stuff, or maybe it's like, oh, I don't know. And I think we forget that we have, and we've created circles in our life. And like, there's certain people that are affected just by the shit that we do. It could be very simple things. It could be very heavy things. Like, I don't know, but we affect the ones that we love, the people that are around us that care. Right. So you always got to look at shit like that. And I'm like, damn, you know what? And again, that's what drives back to the podcast, where it's like, this isn't just about me. It's not just about my life and bullshit and how things affect me and how I can, broaden it up so that we can talk about it and have these conversations. It's like, this is also about other people too. There's other people that look to this project and say, yo, like, what are we talking about this week? What can I take from that? And, you know, go back and maybe watch older episodes and say, oh, you know what? I really love this episode because of X, Y, Z. And it's like, okay, cool. Yeah, man, that's why we do this. That's why we do this. But again, it's hard. It's hard to have to constantly be here and be in this place where it's like, all right, we got to do this, even when I don't want to. Like today, it was kind of one of those days where I was like, you know what? Maybe I just push this shit aside for today and I just record next weekend or next week. Because, yeah, I got a funeral tomorrow and I'm thinking a lot. I'm in my fucking head. And then it's weird because then I have something going on Friday that's the polar opposite of that. And I have to just change my mental space for that, where I'm in this one spot where I got to be like this one day and then be over here and be like this another day. It's fucking weird, right? And that's part of being an adult. And I understand that. Where you're going to have to constantly change your headspace, sometimes in the same fucking day, where you'll be one place, have to be and act one way. Then you're going to be over here and it's like, I have to be and act another way. It's rough to have to yo-yo that way. And I get it. It's a part of it. But it doesn't make it any easier. It doesn't make it any fucking easier. But what I will tell you is where I'm finding inspiration right now is like a big one is working with my boy Bams and his build and being a part of this process with him, you know, helping him out with certain parts and seeing what he's trying to do and what the style is, what the vibe is, you know, going through the painting process, going through pinstriping and everything about it is super inspiring to me because I haven't built a car in a long time. Like it's been a couple years, like really built something. So I kind of forgot what that's like. And I've been involved with homies and what they're doing, but it's not the same thing. And like modding is just not the same thing, but building something is fucking sick. And it's tight because you think about shit, right? And because like I love him so much and I know what he's trying to do, if I can help bring that vision to life, I'm going to fucking do that. I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that this thing in his head becomes a reality. And it's an honor to be a part of that. And some people don't really understand that because they're like, why would you say that? Like, what? How could it be such an honor? And I'm like, because you don't understand that at a certain point when you build cars a certain way, you keep shit under wraps. You have a certain amount or certain people that you look to and then you have involved for a reason. And if I'm being looked to for a certain reason and I'm involved, I'm like, fuck, dude, because I know for me, like when I built the queue was in fucking secret. Here at the house, locked down, parts, everything built, launched out, fucking in secret. And that was it. I love that. But that was a part of my experience. So like seeing Bams be in this pot where he's like, all right, I'm going to stir this. I'm going to make this. I'm going to mix this. And I got the right sous chefs with me. This shit's going to come together. And again, to me, it's very inspiring because I'm also looking at a very different type of build where it's like, this is not JDM. This is not Euro. This is something different that I love, that I've always dreamed of. One, to build me personally. Two, to be a part of this process. As I know other people who have, let's say, shop processes and kind of been a part of builds for other people, certain shops, whatever it may be. And I'm like, damn, this is my chance. This is my opportunity that I'm being given. So what am I going to do with it? I'm going to do every fucking thing that I can. And the biggest part is that I'm being inspired right now. And it's kind of helping me break this creative block in certain aspects, which I know will then overflow into others. But I'm getting excited again. I'm getting excited about shooting. And I'm like, well, how am I going to do this? How am I going to cover this car? I don't know. Okay, what's the video going to look like? How is this going to go? How are the photos going to turn out? What's going to be, what's pushing it? What's the look? What are we gunning for? And then another inspiring thing too that's coming up is Pink Motel. Super fucking excited about that. That's my one thing every fucking year for the last couple years that I plan my whole goddamn year around. It doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't matter what's happening. For me, whenever that fucking day is, nothing else is happening. That's it. It's my day. It's my morning, noon, and night. The moment I wake up, the moment I go to sleep. And then usually for the next week or two after that, just because of photo, video processing. So it's my world for a couple of weeks. And before, it's like I'm just trying to plan, but I also need to be inspired. And I see that even right now, the video that I shot last year is starting to resurface, where it's like, yo, this is coming up again. Yo, this is coming up again. And that's fucking cool too, because it's like people are seeing it. And I feel like I have something. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, I got something for y'all. Don't worry about it. Like, I promise, I got something. And I got to keep that up. And a part of being consistent with that, right? Where it's like, okay, cool. This is being expected. Let's fucking run it up. How do you one up yourself? How do you do this? What shots are you looking for? Try and get shit together the same way that I'm doing it for Bounce Car. Where I'm like, what shots do I want? And as if I already don't pay attention in movies. Like, I'm looking at certain movies and just being like, ooh, dude, this is sick. What if we did something like that? What if we did this? What if we did that? What about that angle? How about this like focus shift? Or how about this? Or I don't know. Wilding out. My head is going crazy in that way. But I need that. I need that level of chaos because it's inspiring, where I can just kind of, it almost feels like I have word maps in front of me, but it's just with everything. And I can just kind of pick and pull and move and cross out and say, okay, move this here and this here and this here. It feels like when you're watching those crime movies and they set up those walls with the pictures and the red string. That's what I feel like, where there's so much because of these things that are coming and because of certain people and like opportunities that they've given me. And it's like, okay, how do we bring the string from here to here to here to here to here to here to here and just keep it moving, but in a good way, where I can step back and say, this is it. This is it. This is the bigger picture. And that's fucking cool. And then after that, like, I know I had mentioned I have something on Friday. It's the polar opposite of, this funeral that I'm attending tomorrow. But on Friday, I have a track day. And I know that might sound kind of weird. Well, it's like, how could you have a track day after a funeral? But it's something that I made a promise to. Albert's going to be out there throwing it down. The least I can do is be there and support him, because it's just what you do. It's what you do for family, right? Like, you sit there and you're like, all right, cool, let's run it, man. Like, I might not be in the best of fucking places, but it's not about me. It's about you. And seeing him happy makes me happy. That's something that I have come to realize, where it's like the people that I love and care for, when I see them smiling, when I see them happy, it makes me happy. Why the fuck would I not want to surround myself with that right now? Like, right fucking now. Because I need it. I need people like Albert. I need people like Sebastian, people like Rob, people like Bams. Like, I need them. And it comes from a very like a very personal place, a very selfish place even. Because it's like, I need that for myself. It's that self-care. It's not even selfish. I need it from a very self-care point of view, where it's like, y'all give me something that I need so bad. And that's it. So seeing them happy makes me happy. And again, on Friday, if I have that opportunity to see my boy with his fucking helmet on, his little red car, jamming around the track, slamming gears, and I'm just like, and he's smiling. Shit, I'm smiling. Cool. That's what's up. I'm proud of you. Keep it fucking moving. And on top of it, there's going to be like some drift demos. So I'll be able to get down and go see some shit that I love, which is drifting. So it's like, cool. I get to see my boy get down. I get to go see some other shit that I love and just be in that motorsport realm again. Because it's been a very long time since I've been out to Willow. And I have a lot of memories there. Like, it's somewhere, it's the first place that I saw, shit like ASB. And people don't even know what the fuck ASB is anymore, But it's like, that type of drifting was super different. That type of grassroots. And it was fucking rad. I had never seen motorcycle racing, like any sort of like moto, I don't even know what you call it. Like, not like MotoGP, but just like any sort of moto racing. I've seen it there. There's so much shit that I've seen that I was exposed to at that track. And so it has a really special place in my heart. So to be able to, for example, go on Friday and see my boy out there getting it. And also another significant thing too, because Singer just purchased that track. So it's about to get completely redone. They're going to repave it. They're probably going to, paint shit up, make it real nice. And it's like, man, it's cool to be able to experience an event before it goes down, before the shift. Like, so to be able to see Willow Springs be Willow Springs one last time, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to get back out there. I don't know if there's going to be another event before the shutdown this summer, because it's coming up really fast. Like, Singer's going to be closing down the track ASAP, to my understanding. So this is cool. It's cool for history. It's cool for us. like for the homies. So it's exciting, right? And it's inspiring, again, to see that, to see the fire that, let's say, Albert has to finish up his car and get things done. Like I was checking in with him today and being like, yo, what's up with it? Like, did you finish the interior? Did you finish everything with the cage? Your suspension, your brakes, like what's up? Did you finish all that shit? And it's like, oh dude, I gotta do this, and this. And I'm like, it's exciting. Like, cool, man, keep it running. You're right fucking there, bro. Like, you're right there. You're at the fucking finish line. The car's gonna get there. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna have a great day. And there's obviously still other things we need to discuss just to make sure everything's cool from a safety aspect. But it's sick. It's sick, and it's gonna be a good day. And again, it's very fucking inspiring to see people in that. And a part of me is like, damn, dude, like I need to put myself back in those shoes. I need to kind of figure something out, do another build, get involved in that way. And just like, I need to spin a wrench again like that for myself, not just for other people, but for myself. And I mean, I don't know. I have some plans. I'm trying to figure things out. Even last night I was with Rob. Well, yesterday I was with Rob, but last night specifically, we had this conversation. We were talking about that. And he's like, fuck yeah, man. Like we need to build something. I was like, yeah, dude. So we started talking about it. We have a couple things in mind. I don't know what we're going to do just yet, but we both need it. And I know for sure for myself, I'm like, yeah, I need this shit bad. And there's a couple of events coming up this summer that I really want to attend, whether I take the Q, whether I take something else or anything, but I'm excited. I'm excited for what's coming. And again, that is inspiring and it's going to help me. I know it's going to help me get out of this kind of creative block that I'm in. And even something yesterday that was really fucking cool that kind of reinforced like what we're talking about today is Rob and I were watching David Blaine's newer series that he dropped on, it's like through Discovery, but I mean, we saw it on Disney or Disney Plus, and it was just fucking rad. And he kind of talked about this, right? Where you need to stay consistent, even when it's not immediately rewarding, because that's where things go down. And for him as a magician, he's always found himself in these places where he has to stay consistent. He can't stop. And he needs to constantly push the envelope and constantly look at things and be inspired by all kinds of shit. And what this show's about is him traveling the world and meeting all these people who have some sort of magic to them. Like, it's not just doing magic. It's not like card tricks and shit. Like, these are people who are doing actual amazing things. Like, he met with this one guy who is basically like he's just some sort of like a performer, but he does things with like broken glass, whether he's like, breaking glass with his hands or like breaking on his head or like slamming his body on like broken bottles and shit. And you're like, what the fuck is happening? And then ends up turning out like to be okay because there's techniques and there's this and there's that. And he's inspired by that. And there's these other guys that are like snake charmers that work with all these venomous snakes like black mambas and king cobras and shit. And how he puts himself in these positions where it's like, I want to achieve and I want to experience these things. And I know those are extremes. Like both of those things that I said right now are extremes. But when you look at it from a personal perspective, you can say, okay, you know what? This is why I need to keep pushing myself. And not that I'm saying this is why I need to build something else, but it's like, that's a part of it. Where I'm like, I have to keep myself inspired. I have to keep myself pushing and figure out ways to push the envelope and to do and to change and to make. Because it's a part of who I am. It's a part of my nature. And if I'm missing that part, I can see how the cogs almost like stop turning. And that's why the machine feels like it's not moving. So I need to kind of take things apart again, put it all back together and make sure that I can get those wheels moving again. To be inspired, to keep it moving, to keep it pushing. So we'll see. It's going to be I feel like it's going to be an interesting summer. And even in the next few weeks, like I feel like shit's going to be going down for me where I can feel like there's a shift happening. And I'm in this constant state of being like, all right, you got to move this. All right, you got to get this out of the way. You got to, reprioritize everything, shift up your priorities. Cause right now you got them a little fucked up, but it's okay. Because that's just a part of where I'm at right now. It's where I'm at in life. I'm thinking a lot. I'm pushing a lot. And I've said this before countless times, but I'm coming up on my birthday soon. It's around the corner. June is going to be here before you fucking know it. And next thing you know, it's like, all right, I'm hitting this milestone, and trying to process that, like, you're not where you want it to be. This is the story in your head is not there. And me having to be like, it's okay. So what are you going to do with it now? Right? Because there's no point in crying over spilled milk. So I'm not going to sit there and be fucking woe is me. But what do we do to kind of continue the story and shift the line a little bit? Like, okay, it's not what you thought it was, but this is what it is right now, which is cool. But keep it moving. Don't fucking stop. Because if I lose that, if I stop, everything falls down. And I've worked too hard and put too much time, love, and energy into these projects, into this podcast, into my design work, into my photos, into my videos, all the creative things that I'm involved with, to just let it all go to shit. And I think we all need to kind of take that step and say, what am I going to do? Because I can't let this go to waste. I can't fucking just drop shit and act like it's nothing. The homies who are building their cars, that's why you keep it moving. That's why you keep it pushing. There's a reason for that. It gives you something. It makes you feel something. Sick. Other creative people who are trying to get their shit together, do this, do that, get involved with these projects, with these people. It gives you something. People with their families, with their friends, when they do things and they feel a certain way, pay attention to all that shit. You have to do things in life that give you what you need. Everything will have something for you. And the moment that anything or any person makes you feel the opposite of that, where it's like, if it gives you something negative, if you're just like, maybe this isn't what I need, it's okay to kind of move that aside, because there will be something else to fall in its place that gives you exactly what you need. So I appreciate y'all for coming today, for listening, watching, however it is that you take in the podcast. And hopefully you're able to take something from today. Hopefully it made you think a little bit. Hopefully it starts up a conversation with somebody, anybody, even with yourself. I think it's important to make time, have those conversations with yourself too. But I hope it gave you something, because I don't know, I really wanted to talk to you guys about this today. So I appreciate y'all. So thank you for listening. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, an incredible weekend ahead. And as always, I will catch you guys on the next one.